spending a ton of time creating an Instagram reel only to have it completely flop, get minimal engagement, not many comments, likes, or shares, it feels terrible. But it doesn't have to be that way. Believe me, I've been there. I've had it happen too many times, and then I put some effort into it. I started to study Instagram Reels, really paid attention to what hooks worked, what Reels were getting the most engagement, likes, shares, and I applied that to my account and grew my Instagram account to over 50,000 followers in less than 2 years. I'm Jada Parrish, one half of Jada and David. David and I build these wild photo sets and do these very cool shoots on them. But today I am talking about social media because honestly, social media is what makes a business work. That is how David and I book all of our client shoots. It's really through social media. People seeing what we do, being interested in it, and wanting to hire us. And in today's world, capturing attention, getting people to stay and watch and engage with what you're doing is more important than ever, but it's also harder than ever because there is so much content out there. And you can put out the best reel in the world, but if it's not strong within the first few seconds, people are just gonna scroll right past it, not watch it, not engage with it, and definitely not share it. So in this video, I am diving into Instagram hooks specifically for photographers. I'm gonna share with you the tips for creating reel hooks that work, that get attention, and how you can apply this to your own business to grow your following completely organically. Because who wants to pay for ads? You really don't have to if you are creating good, strong, shareable content. But before we dive in, I just wanna let you know that in the description below, there are 30 Instagram reel hooks specifically for photographers. These are so many of the same reel hooks that I've used to grow my Instagram account to over 50,000 followers. I put them all together, gave examples of the ones that I've posted that worked, linked in there. So you can go download that right now if you want some specific guidance and help with that. Okay, so I just need to give you a little backstory here. David and I, we've been photographers for a long time. Our first business was a wedding and portrait photography business, and we worked really hard on that Instagram account. We spent almost a decade growing that account, doing contests, posting daily, like all the things that people tell you to do. And we grew that account to almost 15,000 followers, which I was really proud of. Like, that was a big number to me. And then one day, David and I wake up to see that Instagram removed our account. Our account, We Are JD Photo, gone, deleted, removed, not there. So we appealed it, we sent emails, we did all sorts of things, and we never got it back. Months passed, and we were like, okay, fine, time to do something different. So we decided to start a new account. At this time, our photography work had changed a little bit. It was more colorful, more creative. We were doing these sets. So kind of a perfect time to start a new account anyways, although I was not happy about it at the time. But we started a new account, and I grew that account, our new account, Jada and David, to over 50,000 followers in just 2 years. And what was the big change from the first account that took me forever to get to 15,000 followers to getting 50,000 followers so quickly? I got better at hooks. I got a lot better at hooks, and I started to understand how to approach Instagram from a place of service to inspire others to get more organic reach and organic shares with my content, which helped it grow so much faster than I ever thought. So what is a hook? A hook is just a statement or a visual element that catches people's attention and makes them stay longer to watch whatever it is you want them to watch. And that is really important because there is just so much content out there. When I personally sit on my phone, just like scrolling through Instagram, I literally am just like looking through Instagram Reels, and if it's not something that like catches my attention literally within like the first like 2 seconds, I know that's embarrassing, but I just go through it because the next one might be better, and there's just an endless supply, it feels like. So you need to have a really strong visual or a really strong text hook or statement that makes people like be like, oh, okay, wow, that is interesting. I want to see what happens next. Where are they going with this? You want to pique curiosity and get people to engage. So it's pretty obvious why a hook matters. If you're not hooking people, they are just going to flow right past your content. They're not even going to watch it, let alone engage with it, comment, share it, which sharing is the ultimate goal that we want to happen, because that's how your Instagram following grows. You need to expand your reach and get those organic shares by people so that their friends see it and their friends see it. And once you start making that happen, you're gonna wake up and there's gonna be hundreds of new Instagram followers popping up in your feed every single day. Keeping that in mind, creating shareable content is the ultimate goal on Instagram. You need the shares. So what makes shareable content? It's three things. It's pretty simple. You need to create content that either inspires, entertains, or informs. Doesn't sound complicated, and it is like kind of obvious. Like, you want to be adding value to people through the content that you're sharing. And the best way to do that is by creating content that is inspiring someone, that's creating a feeling of hope in them, creating like, oh, that's really interesting. Maybe I could do something like that. Or maybe whatever you're creating is like so far out, they're like, there's no way I could do that, but man, that is so cool. Like, I want to show other people like how awesome that is. Or you are informing. You're teaching them to do something, you're telling them a fact, you're sharing a product, you're sharing a tip, like something so useful to your life that it's probably gonna help a lot of other people too. When people find useful, valuable information, they love to share that with everybody else because that makes them feel good too. And then entertaining, like, who doesn't like to laugh? That's like really all I'm talking about here. Like funny content, skits, just anything that makes someone smile, that's entertaining content. And that is so valuable, and people share that probably more than any other type of content out there, just because like who doesn't love to spread joy? Like it's cool to be the person who shares like an awesome piece of content that then their friends see and they're like, oh my God, that's so funny. Those are the three big aspects to focus on. When you're thinking about content at the core, gotta ask yourself the question, am I going to be creating content that inspires, entertains, informs? Keeping that in mind, that you need to be creating content that meets one of those three things, we now have to craft an engaging hook around your content that is going to make people want to stay, want to engage with it long enough to get that useful information out of it. You know what a good hook is, because I guarantee that when you are on Instagram, you're scrolling through and the stuff that you are liking, sharing, commenting on, those are the Instagram reels with the good hooks, because they captured you, they got your attention. And what makes a good hook is like a contradictory statement, a yes question, something that makes you want to wait to see what they're going to do. What's the final product going to look like? It's anything that just like loops you in. So breaking down some classic ones, one that I love for photographers, which I personally have used myself, is I'm a photographer, but. Like, what does that mean? You're like, okay, you're a photographer, but like, what are you gonna say next? So you wanna throw in a contradictory item to that. So what I did for that was I said, I'm a photographer, but I don't pose. And then I had it pop up like a second or two later, and it said, I direct. So I'm a photographer, but I don't pose. I direct. Okay, interesting. Most photographers pose. What does it mean that you direct? You caught my attention. So then I go on and kind of explain that, why I direct people instead of posing them. And then to capture that attention even further, to harness more engagement, I also added in a call to action, being like, hey, comment this, and I'm gonna send you the posing prompts that I use to direct people in my photo shoots for free. Just comment this. So with that one reel, I got tons of engagement on it. People thought it was interesting and inspiring. They're like, okay, so you don't pose, you direct. Interesting. People reshared that, but also people engaged with it in a bigger way by then giving me their email addresses, which then I shared with them my free posing prompts. And it created this like whole organic infrastructure of content where I got the shares, I grew my Instagram account, and I grew my email list. And it was just a simple reel that literally anybody can do. So think of that. You're a photographer. What's something you do differently than maybe other photographers do? What's something controversial? What's something different? Another really great one is, which I also use this one, but is unpopular opinion, but. Like, everyone loves to argue with an unpopular opinion. You're like, what are you gonna say? It's going to be controversial. Okay, I'm here to listen to it. So for that one, I did unpopular opinion, but I'm not a big fan of paper backdrops, which is something that so many photographers use, paper backdrops all the time. And it got a pretty good response because they're like, she doesn't like paper backdrops? I use paper backdrops. What does she like instead? I'm curious now. And I'm like, I love posing in a box. There's this box set. Here's 10 poses that you can do inside this box. Here's my free download. Once again, engagement, shares, emails, like easy to capture that because people were interested. There's so many more. There's so many more, and this can be such an easy thing to do. Another one that literally every photographer under the sun can do this is the setup versus the shot. This one I have used so many times, and every time I do, it works so well. You start with a behind the scenes shot of like whatever your setup in your studio is or your setup of your outdoor shoot, showing what you're gonna do. And then people are like, okay, interesting setup. That's maybe different than what I do. I don't know. And so they stay for a little bit and then they're waiting to see what the final shots are. And if your final shots are good, people are like, whoa, that's cool. Look how that setup got that shot. That's inspiring. Share that. Comment. Be like, wow, that's awesome. Such shareable organic content, meeting that inspiration category. And then just another, like, such a basic one, but it works. It works. And I've used this one so many times too. Is a reel where the hook is wait for it, ... It makes people be like, what am I waiting for? I don't even know what I'm waiting for, but I'm guessing it's going to be engaging because you're like telling me that it's important that I wait for it. So they're there, they're hooked, they watch for that 3 seconds until you show them whatever is the important thing that they need to see. And if it's good, if they're like, whoa, I'm glad I waited for that, that surprised me, share. They're going to comment, they're going to engage, they're going to share. So taking that time to like craft the hook that goes along with the reel makes such a big difference. You wanna write that on your reel in like a bold font for the first few seconds of the video that's very easy to read, very clear. You want it to be short enough, like wait for it, unpopular opinion, but like 3 to 4 words works really well. That like sums it up, but is also short enough to read in like 3 seconds. So you wanna have that up for like the first like 3 to 5 seconds of your reel to help hook people to keep watching, but you can't stop there. You need a strong visual to accompany whatever your written hook is. So I think that the best way to do this is with motion. Like you've seen this before, like the snap and something happens, throw something at the camera or catch something. Or with photography, this is an easy one. Make a flash fire, like, whoa, what is that? Or even just like a pan in, like a zoom in with your phone towards the camera at whatever you're photographing. The winning combination comes when you are creating that strong visual movement motion with that written engaging hook, combined with also meeting one of those 3 criteria of inspire, entertain, inform. When you're doing that, people are just going to share your content. They're going to be engaged with it and your following is going to grow. It's not that hard. Now that you know that, you need to gauge where you are in this moment. Are you already hooking followers with the content that you're putting out? You gotta check. You have to see where you are with this. So the best way to do that is Instagram. The one good thing it gives you is so many metrics. Like maybe you are getting like saves and shares and comments and all of this. But if you are, you're probably not watching this video. So I'm guessing you need some help with this. So go on Instagram, the last reel you posted, click View Insights, look at the Insights tab, and what I want you to scroll down and look for is the watch time. I want you to see what your average watch time is. And if it is less than like 5 seconds, you need to adjust something. That means that you aren't hooking people for a long enough time to stay engaged with your reel all the way through. And if that's where you're falling, I really want you to go download the free download that I'm giving you in the description below that shares with you 30 free Instagram reel hooks specifically for photographers. And again, these are the same reel hooks that I have used over and over again that helped me grow my Instagram following to over 50,000 followers in less than 2 years without ever spending $1 on Instagram growth. Go download those. I promise you they're going to help you. But if you need even more, just kind of like if you want to reframe your whole approach to social media, shift your mindset, I have an ebook that I have just put out called You Can't Change the Algorithm, but You Can Change Your Mindset. And what that book is all about, it's a reframe of moving from making social media this me-centric, I'm trying to show what I'm doing, I'm trying to get likes, I'm trying to put my stuff out there, to creating this whole new mindset shift that's about building community and cultivating and curating like a really engaged following of people who truly like what you're doing, who share the same values, who are people that you might actually be friends with in real life. And it's kind of helping you shift your mindset to just approach social media in a way that's more for the community than for yourself. And that's honestly the biggest shift that I made that helped me grow on social media. So I'm gonna link that below too if you wanna check that out. But you got this. It's pretty basic. Capture attention, add value. That's it. You got this. Keep going, and if you want more social media tips, wild photo shoots, like, subscribe, tell me what you think. But until next time.
Sick.